as educators, we have to often appear as though we have all the answers and we have it all together. And we can have lives personally where we're going through tremendous struggles and difficulties, and where we are recovering from our own history of ACEs or adverse childhood experiences and trauma, and or perhaps not recovering from them and just simply suffering from them. And so what brought me into the work I do now in terms of supporting schools and becoming more trauma responsive and more resiliency centered was a personal journey. I found myself as an educator who was highly effective in terms of being able to support student outcomes and achievement, but my personal life was a mess. I was in relationships that were incredibly dysfunctional. I was struggling with addiction. I was struggling with a lot of symptoms of my own experiences of ACEs and trauma. You know, I grew up in a family where there was a lot of love, but there was also history, you know, generational history of addiction, different forms of abuse that weren't spoken about or acknowledged, and folks that were doing the best that they could. But as I came into adulthood, I lacked a lot of the skills that I needed in order to have a healthy life for myself. So I had to quite literally hit bottom a few times. I mean, I owe a lot of my sanity, my sobriety to 12-step recovery, to therapy, to really doing, you know, by any means necessary what was needed in order to start to heal myself. Because I was able to show up for my students and I was able to show up for my colleagues, but I wasn't able to show up for me. And so for me, this work is both personal and professional. It is not something where I think about how do we help those kids, because I was one of those kids. I was truant or chronically absent from second grade until 12th grade. I joke, but it's true that, you know, in high school, I had 183 absences and over 300 lates. My first full day of high school was the first day that I taught it. So I had to build those skills to have healthy routines, to take care of myself, to be able to sustain myself in this work. And that's been a longer and more humbling journey. I have learned more from my limits than from my strengths. So my thoughts are, if you're an educator who relates to this, seek out sources of help and support, whatever that might look like. If it's a trusted friend, if it's a therapist, if it's a faith or spiritual community or 12-step recovery community, or if it's reading books. You know, I mentioned, a book by Pete Walker, Complex PTSD, or there's wonderful books like The Body Keeps the Score or My Grandmother's Hands. There's fantastic books to start to look at our own healing and our own healing journey. So it might be a book, it might be a friend, it might be time in nature, it might be whatever you need to start to support your well-being. But no, you're not alone in that. And the beauty of it, right, is that we can move from hurting to healing to helping. And many of us, we jump right into helping, but we're still hurting. And I can tell you from my own personal life, it's a beautiful thing to be able to help and to connect, and also to be helped and to be supported, and to have that reciprocity and that mutuality in relationships and in that healing journey. That's something that has made a huge difference in my life and fuels the work that I do. And I'm thankful for the educators I get to meet across the country who can relate to me in this way and who share maybe different backgrounds, different struggles, but we can come together in that moment of kind of recognition and go like, you made it too, you know? And that means a lot to me. That means a lot to me.
For more information about social and emotional learning, please visit adlit.org. This project was made possible by a partnership between the National Education Association and WETA.